Lloyd Figgins, chairman of the Travel Risk and Incident Prevention Group, and joins us. Good morning to you, Lloyd.
Good morning,
Thanks
Julia.
so much for joining us. And now the EU chief, Ursula von der Leyen, yesterday has said that vaccinated people will be able to go on holiday to the EU in the summer. It would include UK and American travellers. And obviously a lot of hope. But of course, we're waiting until, I think, early May, maybe early next week. We're going to be told which countries would initially go on the green list or the amber list. So you could travel on the amber list, travel and have a little bit of a isolation afterwards, rather than the red list facing a government quarantine hotel. But we still don't have any certainty which countries will let us in and which countries our government will let us go to without facing quarantine on the way back, do we?
No, we don't. And I think that, Julia, this is a throwback to what we saw last summer, and where we had tourists travelling overseas to countries that they were told they could travel to, only to find out, a few days into their holiday, but if they didn't get back to the UK in time, then they were going to have to quarantine. So, I think the government is quite rightly playing the cautious card here. I think that they were probably a little bit too liberal last year. And if we look at it from a risk management point of view, this is actually the sensible thing to be doing.
OK, but in terms of risk management, I mean, it depends. I mean, if you can get people tested, if everyone's tested before and everyone's tested after, there isn't much risk, is there?
Well, actually, you say that. When we look at testing alone, there is a degree of risk. And so when we look at risk, we've got to look at frequency of risk, severity of risk, and impact of risk. And we only have to have a look at that flight that travelled from India to Hong Kong, where 52 of the passengers tested positive on arrival in Hong Kong, yet had displayed negative test results before they got on the aircraft.
Yeah, but that's because I'm sorry, people. It doesn't come down that quickly. So who are we kidding? These people had fake COVID tests, didn't they? Come on.
Well, exactly, and this is the problem. This is one of the risks that we face, Julia. Is the fact that I remember talking to you about this months ago about the fact that criminals will be able to exploit the testing system, and they'll also be able to exploit the vaccination passport system as well. So that means that we've got to have more than one methodology in order to try and keep people as safe, in order that we can keep travel operating as best we possibly can.
I mean, we say there's an argument really for getting the airlines to sort of administer tests before people get on, and people in the airport for long enough, aren't they? People who are actually accountable for what happens, whose insurance, makes them accountable. Whether people, you can have a test at your hotel, but we'd rather, you have a test which the airport the airline carries out before you get on that plane, and they're responsible for you. Then that puts the onus on an organisation rather more than someone being able to just sort of as we know, buy a fake COVID negative test proof, which we know I think 100 a day are being found by the customs staff in the UK right now.
Absolutely, and this is why Collinson and some of the airlines have been doing that airport testing. Yeah. And in fact, Collinson have been doing that airport testing since we first got news of this pandemic. So it is now a case of making sure that we are using the facilities that are already in place. They've already been tried and tested. They've been rolled out at most major UK airports now. Yeah. So I think it really is a case of making sure, get your ducks in a row, get that testing done, have the vaccinations as well, belt and braces approach so that we can all get back to travel.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Lloyd Figgins, chairman of the Travel Risk and Incident Prevention Group. Thank you very much.